This is not just a story, it's a warning to every parent, every guardian, and every neighbor. Because sometimes the danger we fear isn't outside, it's living right inside the house. Diamond arrived in the quiet town as part of his National Youth Service Corps assignment. The compound he was posted to had only 3 tenants, Mr. Sola, his wife Mrs. Purity, and their 9-month-old baby girl, Ivy. Mr. Sola worked long hours as a banker. He was gone before sunrise and often didn't return until late at night. Mrs. Purity, a hard-working woman, managed a small provision store just outside the compound gates. Between running the shop and caring for Ivy, her days were exhausting. Then came Diamond. He was young, in his late 20s, handsome, with a charming smile and helpful nature that quickly won everyone's admiration. Within days, he became like family in the compound. He carried groceries, helped fix light bulbs, and kept the compound lively with his friendliness. But most of all, he took a special interest in baby Ivy. Ivy was the kind of child who captured hearts. Her giggles lit up rooms, and her wide eyes seemed to hold entire stories. She was a magnet for affection. And strangely enough, Diamond always knew how to calm her. Whenever Ivy cried endlessly in her mother's arms, Diamond would say with a smile, "Let me hold her." Almost immediately, Ivy would quiet down, resting peacefully in his arms. At first, it felt like a miracle. Mrs. Purity, burdened with both her shop and the demands of motherhood, began to rely on Diamond more and more. "God bless you, Copper Diamond. You are truly a lifesaver." Diamond became more than a neighbor. He was almost like an uncle to Ivy. He carried her often, babysat willingly, and even spent long hours with her in his room so that Mrs. Purity could walk in peace. To her, it was the blessing she didn't know she needed. But not everyone saw it that way.
Mama Risi, the elderly woman who lived in the 3rd apartment of the compound, watched closely. She often sat on her stool outside, observing everything, and the more she saw, the less she liked it. "That young man is too close to that baby," she muttered to herself. "It is not normal." But whenever she mentioned her unease, Mrs. Purity brushed it aside. "Mama, you worry too much. Diamond is just helping me. You know how hard it is to run a shop with a baby. He has been nothing but good to us." Still, Mama Risi's eyes followed every move. Her instincts screamed that something was wrong. Days turned into weeks. Diamond's bond with Ivy grew stronger, and so did Mrs. Purity's trust. She began to leave Ivy with him more frequently, sometimes for hours. To her, it was harmless. To Mama Risi, it was dangerous. One afternoon, while Mr. Sola was away at work, Ivy grew restless. She cried endlessly, her tiny fists balled up, her face red with frustration. Mrs. Purity, already tired from a long morning, gladly handed her over to Diamond. As always, Ivy grew calm in his arms. "See," Diamond said with his usual smile, "she just likes me." Mrs. Purity laughed. "She's like your child now. Thank you, Copper Diamond." But that day, Mama Risi had seen enough. She quietly followed him, creeping toward his window. What she saw inside made her entire body freeze. Her suspicions were confirmed. Diamond was harming the innocent child in ways too painful to describe. Her hands trembled as she covered her mouth, fighting back a scream. Then, with all the strength of a desperate grandmother, she ran to find Mrs. Purity. "Come with me now," she shouted, grabbing the younger woman's arm. Startled, she tried to steady the goods she was carrying. "Mama, what is it? What's wrong?" "You will see," Mama Risi snapped. "Just come with me." When they reached Diamond's window, Mama Risi pointed. "Look." At first, Mrs. Purity hesitated, but when she peeped inside, her heart stopped, her knees gave way. The neighbor she trusted more than anyone else was betraying her in the most horrifying way. "No, this can't be real," she cried, tears blurring her vision. Together, she and Mama Risi pounded on the door. "Open this door! Open it now!" The compound shook with their screams. Other neighbors gathered, banging on the door until it burst open. Inside, Diamond fell to his knees, pleading, "Please, forgive me. It's not what you think." But it was exactly what they thought. The truth was undeniable. Mama Risi pounced on him with fury, hitting and slapping. "You devil! You snake! What did this innocent child do to you?" The crowd restrained her as the police were called. Diamond was dragged away in handcuffs, his tears and pleas falling on deaf ears. But the damage was done. In the following days, Ivy's health began to fail. She cried endlessly, her small body weakened from what she had been subjected to in secret. Doctors did everything they could, but her condition worsened. One morning, just as dawn broke, Ivy took her last breath in her mother's arms. Mrs. Purity screamed tore through the hospital halls. "No, my baby, my Ivy!" She collapsed, clutching the lifeless body of her daughter. Mr. Sola, broken beyond words, held both mother and child, tears streaming down his face. The story spread quickly. The town was shaken to its core. At Diamond's trial, witnesses, medical evidence, and Mama Risi's testimony sealed his fate. He was sentenced to a long prison term, but no punishment was enough. Back at the compound, life was never the same. Mrs. Purity shut down her shop, drowning in guilt. Mr. Sola moved through life with a hollow stare, trying to be strong but broken inside. And Mama Risi, though she was vindicated, she found no peace. Every night, she prayed for the family and whispered to herself, "Not every smiling face can be trusted. May God protect the innocent." Ivy's death became a painful reminder to the entire community. Blind trust can be dangerous. Not everyone who offers to help your children has good intentions. Watch your children and guard their way. Teach them love and how to pray. Hold their hands and show them light, and keep them safe through the darkest night. The world is calling, temptations near, but your voice of wisdom is what they need to hear. Guide their steps, help them grow, so they won't go astray as they go through life.